gentlemen, welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It is the Morning Shake with me, your host, David Hendricks, and of course, my co-host, Mr. Jay Paris.
And I feel like I'm muted, but yeah, there we go. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's a beautiful Monday morning. Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins? And bless up to the world. I'm Jay Paris, and it's always an honor and a privilege. What's happening, broski?
Nah, dope, bro. We got an interesting show coming up today. We've been on this month of the side hustles. And, of course, you know, we're living in a time, bro, where everyone's trying to make money. Everyone's trying to just survive. And, of course, sometimes the 9 to 5 doesn't suffice. And we got to do some other stuff just to get that side hustle in. And, of course, we got our guest here today, who is also my wife. You know, she also started her own side hustle. But we're going to hear more from her as she explains to us what the side hustle is, how the whole side hustle came about, and you know, the ups and downs of running a side hustle. And I guess, you know, we're all trying to make some funds, but a lot of people aren't willing to do what it takes to get things done, you know. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Welcome our guest today, none other than Anka Hendricks. Yo, explain that long applause.
Come on.
There's a long applause. What's
Thanks,
happening? Anka, what's happening?
Yeah, so
So, Anka, tell us about yourself.
Good morning. How you doing? How was the weekend? No,
Fine.
fine.
fine. That's
Hey,
good.
sure. Now we need to ask a lot of questions.
Now we have
Yeah,
to think,
so-
how are we going to keep the
So
momentum?
there's a lot of content for today. So I'll just let you drive out all the questions. But how's it been? How's everything been with me? Everything's been good. Everything's been good with Shop Closet, which is my shop. Yeah.
Come on.
Which is my side hustle, basically. But it's also my dream. It's my passion. So things are growing slowly but gradually. So things are looking up.
Cool. I don't know. I see the thing stuttering, bro. Are you fine? Is everything fine? I see some stutters. Let's just hear what the...
CPU's overloaded. Can I cancel it?
Yeah, cancel that other thing.
Are we still live, bro?
Yeah, bro,
Or
we're
is it-
still live, but it's really like struggling to get along there. It's like anyway, let's get into it. And so side hustles, a lot of people trying to do their own thing, but people are not aware of what it actually takes to run your own thing and how challenging it can become and how difficult side hustling is. Take us through, number one, why did you decide to start your own thing? What was the thought process behind that?
Well, there's a lot of things that got me doing what I'm doing. But the first, and I think for most people, this is the main reason or the first reason they get into a side hustle is because we can't live off of one stream of income alone.
Yeah.
The cost of living now is just too much. So you dabble into a side hustle just to sort of like help you get through the month. You've got kids, you've got bills, you've got school fees to pay, and just to make life easier. So yeah, that's why you get into it. But there's quite a few other reasons for me personally. I mean, we've known each other, 9 years, and ever since we've met, that's the thing that I've wanted to do. I've wanted to do clothing. I've wanted to, have my own brand. So that's also part of the reason that spurred me into going into this, because I don't just ultimately want it to be a side hustle. I want it to be the main thing that I do.
So when did you start actually getting into it, as far as take us through the beginning stages and the ups and downs that it actually takes to get into
So when
it?
we initially got married, I didn't have a job. I was technically non-existent in this country. So I couldn't find a job. And we were pregnant with Ava, and, there were no funds at all. We were really just living from hand to mouth. And I was like thinking, okay, I want to start this business, but I need 100,000. I need so much for this business. And I was like, how am I going to do it? So initially, my first side hustle was selling biltong. I made biltong and I sold biltong. And I was like, but it's not my passion, it's not my dream, it's not what I want to do. This is too much work for too little money. And some of the proceeds that I got from selling the biltong is I thought, okay, fine, what can I do with this? What can I do with this 1,000 rand that I have to make it to 2,000 rand, to make it to 3,000 rand? But I still didn't know Josie. I didn't know where the places are, you know, where I can go, where can I source clothing from. And I met this lady, and she got me into it. I was like, you know, I need a bit of help. You've been doing this. Can I maybe, you know, sell your stuff like under you, and you give me like what, 10%, 20% of the profits or whatever. And that's basically, and that time it was like 20 rand. That's literally what I was making for selling an item, 10 rand per item. And I was like, this is a start, because I need capital. I didn't have any capital. And then I basically through her, she helped me, she showed me the places. And then one day she just said to me, you can do this on your own. You can go out on your own. And that's basically how, and this is Josie, there's a business opportunity around every corner. And that's basically how I started it, where I, you know.
Facts. How important do you think it is to keep pushing even beyond the fact that you might not have capital? Because a lot of people, you know, will basically stop and not pursue the side hustle or the career they want to go into because of.
This is why it's very important to know why you're doing something. Because if you're just gonna do something for the money and you're like, oh no, this is too much work, you're not gonna push through. Because there's going to be hard times. In anything, there's going to be hard times. And not having capital was my biggest challenge. And it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. So I had 1,000 rand, and we know 1,000 rand is not a lot of money. It's not money that you can take home and live the rest of your life off of. In fact, you can't even buy a proper shoe or a proper, you know, outfit or something with 1,000 rand. So that's what I had to start off with. And it's a matter of, you need to find a way that works best for you to grow it. Because you can have that 1,000 rand and you can use it for groceries. So you can use it to pay the school fees. Or you can use it in such a way to make it 2,000 rand, to make it up to 10,000 rand. What are the choices that you're putting behind that resource that you have? So if that's the obstacle you're going to look at, I don't have capital, you're going to sit where you're sitting for the rest of your life. You're not going to move.
And I think a lot of people get that wrong, bro. Where you want to start something, and we had this argument all the time. I'm like, yeah, so now when are you going to get the capital? Where are you going to get the capital? What's the plan moving forward? Because it's easy to sit there and say, I don't have the money. I mean, you can come up with like 1,000 excuses as to why you can't do something, because the truth is, those excuses are valid. Those obstacles are there. Those challenges are there, where it's a matter of like, I can't do it because of the money. I can't do it because I need to fetch the kids. I can't do it because I have, you know, kids that I have to make sure that are okay. I can't do it because where I'm living. I can't do it because, you can come up with like 1,000 excuses.
To go with me or something, because in what I'm doing, I constantly need someone. I can't do what I'm doing alone, because I live in Joburg. You know, it's dangerous to just go alone. So you constantly, these are obstacles. I mean, we had a part where we didn't even have a car to go get the stock. So, and you hustle around that. And if you don't make a plan, if you're not motivated to get past that hardship, you're never gonna make it to the next level. Because I remember when I was selling biltong wasn't even getting us enough money to just buy like 500 rands worth of groceries. It wasn't enough. We were eating bread with bologna, with a bit of tomato sauce as dinner, as supper. That was our meal, fit for a king. But if I had to say that, okay, this 500 rand, this 1,000 rand, okay, let me buy, you know, a bit of groceries, meat or something just to prepare at home or whatever. You know, we were never going to get past that. We were literally going to eat the money instead of trying to make it into, you know, 5,000 rand, to take 1,000 rand to buy groceries. Do you get what I'm saying? It's really your mindset behind, how am I going to get past this obstacle?
What would you say sets you apart from everyone else doing or offering what you do?
So we had this conversation in the car, and I had to like rack my brain, because when I started doing this, I didn't see a lot of people doing it. I obviously had help getting in there, and there were a few businesses doing this. And then when I started my thing, it's like, everyone is doing exactly what I'm doing and selling the same things that I'm selling. It's like, so how do you get past this? Because the competition is real.
Yep.
And I was despondent the one day, and I was sitting with Xavier's sister the one day, and she's like, just do you, boo. Just do that, because people are going to do that because they think it's glamorous. They're going to do that because they're going to think it's easy. But you know the hustle behind it, because I'd been doing it for 2 years. However, I wasn't advertising the way other people were advertising. Because for me, social media was a big mountain that I had to climb, because I'm not a social person in terms of social media. I don't post. And that was the big mountain I had to climb. And she got me and she pushed me over the ledge and she said, no. Come, we're going to set up your profile now. We're going to get your logo. We're going to do that. And that's basically that little bit of a nudge pushed me over there to say, just do you. And a lot of it, and what I found was that a lot of these people that started doing this, and I tried to help some of them, because I feel like if we're in this industry and we're saying we're women and we're women's empowerment, then let's be each other's sisters. And I really did try to help however I could, but they didn't push forward. And I think a lot of that is because it's not really your passion. It's something you think that is easy to do because you see other people doing it, but you don't know what the work is behind it. So people didn't push past that. But what I bring to the table personally, what I think I bring to the table is that a lot of these places you have to drive there or you have to go pick it up somewhere. And what I do is I bring the element of to your doorstep, the element of comfort. A lot of people don't want to drive to these places because sometimes the stuff that I do sell is easily accessible for some people, but for others it's not. So I make it available. I go the extra mile. I get the stuff for them and I make sure that it's proper quality, because you run the risk of it not being good quality. You run the risk of there's a default on it. And I have to make sure that it goes through good quality check. I have to make sure that, it's to your doorstep. And are you happy as a client? Am I making my clients happy?
So look, there's something you mentioned there where we're speaking about is obviously everything is accessible. We live in Joburg where we can get things wherever. You can get in your car and drive somewhere, and if they don't have it, you can literally go 5 minutes down the road and they might have it. Facts. So we live in a busy city. We live in one of the capitals of where business happens.
The New York City of SA.
Of Africa, outside of Nigeria, that's also growing the economy quite well. But it's a big part of Africa's economy. And so you can get those things, but the elements of kind of finding your audience or your niche of market. How did you go about getting that market?
That was not a difficult, but it was challenging. It wasn't per se too difficult, but it was challenging because what I offer is accessible. Right. So you say to yourself, okay, fine, if I'm going to get this, I'm going to source this and I'm going to make it available to who really is it. It's not, there's a certain market I can't sell it to. They'll tell me, oh no, I can't buy from you because I get it. Yeah. But there is a market. So I was fortunate enough to be part of a community that has already like this business group on it. But I know that they're the type of people that won't go where I go. So my aim was to make it available to them and make it affordable as well. But in the process, I do make something because there's a lot of effort that goes into it. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of energy into it. So it took time to build up my list, because then there were people that were interested and there were people that brought things back because they found out that they could get it somewhere else and all of that. And then you get to the point where you find that there's a market that will support you no matter what, that will believe in what you give them is a proper quality, and they'll support you no matter what. And that took time. It takes time to do that.
So do you think you covered, because I got Susan online. By the way, guys, thank you so much for joining in this morning. We obviously live and we can see your comments coming through live as we speak. And Susan Peters is online and she says, I appreciate that I don't have to go and look for stuff. You got it covered for me. And I think that's part of the element. It's almost like curating the content for you, curating the clothes for you. So it's a matter of that you don't have to go in. Yeah, it's an element of convenience. You don't have to go and look for something. You don't have to now go and drive around and find something. If people associate with your style or associate with the way you vibe, they're like, okay, you got like 5 outfits that's similar to the style that I vibe with. So I'll just get it straight from you at a small markup.
Do you think it's a lot to do with who you know?
It is a lot to do with who you know, but that's why I think in any sphere in life...
And hey, Shane, let me support her.
Yes, but I think it's important in any sphere in life. Networking is a thing. Like, you'll always find people pushing networking. And who you know, people start believing in who you are as a person. They start buying things from you because, you got a good character. They know, and not just that. I think people also vibe with your style, because what I'm doing is basically fashion buying, right? So before I started this back in the day when I was in college and I studied something that we don't speak about, I dropped out because I wanted to do fashion buying, but I never got around to studying that industry. And as life goes on, life happens, you have kids, you marry, and things changes, priority changes, and also your confidence sort of gets a knock, because you're like, I've been out of it for a while. Because when you become a mom, you like, I know not everybody, but some of us, we do let ourselves go because you've got different kind of, priorities and stuff. And then it's like your confidence is knocked, because you're like, are people really going to like this? Are people really going to like that? But as you go along and you do what you're doing, you gain confidence again, and you're like, no, actually, maybe I do have, not everyone's going to like what you're doing, but there are going to be a few people, like you just said, that vibe with your style.
Yeah.
Because you go out and you have to make a decision, what will go, what might not go. You have to make, I'm sitting in that driver's seat and I have to make those decisions. And I've got people that support me who will literally just buy because they want to support me. Not necessarily because they'll necessarily wear it, but because I've had stock and I've had people that believed in my dream, that I've had stock, and I'm like, I need to let this go to get to my next level, my next target, so that I can get more stock, because I need to move the stock to be able to buy more stock. And I've had people that bought to say, okay, you know what, Anka, to get rid of your stock, I'll buy from you. And they'll bless someone else with it.
Yeah, we were actually at a masterclass on Saturday, and one of the most important things that they were mentioning about the brand is the trust. And that's, I think, is important, because people trust the fact that, the packaging is on point, it will be delivered on time, and more so what's in the package, and
And I think this for me was the biggest learning curve. Like I wasn't into the packaging. I was like, let me get the product out. And then you realize, but there's a larger audience that do want this nice thing. That's why they go to your poetry or your witchery or whatever. And because it's packaged in a nice way. Like even if you look at your Louis Vuitton bags, and what was that show we were watching?
Hermes bags.
What they were saying how to pronounce it, Hermes or whatever, Hermes. But people want that element of the glitz and the glam, and that in the last 2 to 3 months is what I've been working on, trying to find what works for me and seeing how can I package it, because that is an element of the brand. If it looks nice when it comes, I can take my photo. Ooh, I got a new package. People like it. We live in that era, so people like it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And what's some of the dark sides of starting your own thing? Like a lot of people,
there's a few of those.
Yeah, and I want you to touch on some of that. There's a lot of people look at this and they're like, and that's the thing though with social media. Like I go into IG, I see your Anka selling this,
the highlight reel.
The highlight reel, and you can. Here's the thing though, you can make the highlight reel look how you want it to look. You can make it look successful. You can make it look like. You can go to a place. I remember a couple of years ago, we knew Anka and I knew somebody that was like on the grind and on the hustle, and they weren't necessarily doing well. And they would structure their things in such a way that if you saw it on IG, you would think, this person is like killing it and is like doing da.
Which is not a bad thing,
though. It's how the hustle works,
It works like that because people buy into what they see.
The image. Yeah. And we knew them personally, and we were like, nah, bruh, this is not how they're living their day to day. But obviously they have to portray this image so that people buy into the image.
It till you make
you kind of have to do that.
Yeah, but you respect the hustle. You really respect the hustle, because you're like, okay, I can get some tips of how because if people think it's, this just looks like something that's just a household thing, or just, what you wear around the house, it's not going to sell. It's not going to work for you. But if you sell it in a glamorous way, even though I have to put the light in this position, I have to move this dirt out of the way, not dirt, but clutter out of the way.
So that you don't see boxes and things in the back of the picture.
Or it's even going to cost more for the packaging, the labeling,
and that's the thing though, and that's the thing. I just want to jump on before you go on to some of the dark sides. I hope you got some dark sides there, and the tough sides of actually packaging your brand and making it work for you, because like I said, a lot of people see this image and they're like, this looks quite, I also want to do it. Then they get into it, and a month down the line they realize, this is not so quite like we thought it was. We got Llewellyn saying every hustle has its own struggle. You're doing well because you started by turning your hustle into your brand. And then we got Ms. Joseph saying we here with some love and showing some support over there. But take us through some of the tough times, man, the challenges that people see the the nice things, but they don't know
the glory, but they don't know the story.
This thing can become a little bit challenging.
One of the major things for me is your time. A side hustle requires you to work after hours. It requires you to work during family time, and the challenging part for me was balancing between family and your business and your day-to-day life, because my kids are at school every day. So you only have 2 to 3 hours when they come home from school to spend time with them, and then you need to get them ready for bed, and that's the end of the day. And I go to bed really early, so that's the end of the day. But during that time is finding the balance of when do I push my hustle. That's the one thing, managing time. And I think a lot of people, when they get into side hustles, they think it's going to be easy, but it's not, because weekends you have to push, after hours you have to push, and you have to balance, especially for us as women. We've got chores, we've got things to do. We have to mother, we have to wife, we have to be the helper, we have to be everything in the house. So that for me was a challenge. The other thing is that nobody's behind you, in the sense, or nobody's on top of you to make sure, did you do this, did you do that, did you hand in your report? No one's above you to channel those decision making. You need to know that you need to take ownership. If I don't get up today to go get stock, nothing's going to happen. If I don't send these packages out now, my clients are going to be disappointed. And guess what? They don't tell you they're disappointed. They just don't come back. So your brand, you're building your brand goes with it. There's a lot of discipline that goes behind it. And for me, because I was rather a very bad procrastinator. I'm a better procrastinator now.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this thing. That was a challenging part for me, to know that this customer has paid me, and I need to act with integrity to make sure that it gets there on time, because this is the word I give, and it gets there in a proper condition. It gets there in what they thought they were buying, because I know it's the worst thing, when people post what I ordered versus what I got. You don't want that kind of publicity. So you need to make sure that you want this person to come back. The person might not come back next month, but the person might come back 2-3 months from now, and they might buy. I have customers that buy from me every month without fail, 5 to 6 items, one shot, right? If not every second week, depending on how my stock flow is. And the quicker I can get the stock out, the quicker I can get in more stock. I wrote a couple of things down. And then also... I
want to ask you this question, right? How important is building trust with your audience?
Yo. I'll say this again. I'll repeat this. I just said it. That if people are unhappy, they don't tell you. Very few tell you. They just don't come back. And then they will tell the other person, oh no, I bought this from that person or from that shop, and it wasn't nice quality, or I just wasn't happy. And then that influences that customer, and then you have 2 to 3 customers that just don't go, because people ask. I'm on this group of businesses where people ask, guys, or like a community group where these people ask, guys, have you bought from this company? Have you bought from that company? What's the feedback? Oh, no, it took 10 years to get here. Oh, no, they charged me extra when it was, in process with the shipping or whatever. So it's so important to build that. I try my utmost best to keep my customers happy. So if you obviously, as a business, you have certain policies in place, because you can't take a loss for something that someone else did. If you know that your slate is clean and you took the right measures for this item to be as they purchased, what they saw, it needs to get there. And then when it gets there, it needs to get there in a timely fashion. So now you get to the customer, and I try to keep up with it, to ask, are you happy? Was the item the way you wanted it? Please post a picture so that I can post it back. Not everybody comes back to you, but at least your customer's back. And most of those are happy, and most of those customers come back. Because that's how you grow your loyalty from the customers. That's how you grow that the people will come back. Because that's ultimately why do you go to Edgar's, or why do you go to Truworths, or why do you buy from why do you like Nike so much? Why do you like Adidas so much? Because they've built their brand over time. You know that you're going to get a certain quality from there. You know that you're going to get it in a certain way. Yes, you know the prices are going to be a certain way, but you're going to pay that price regardless, because you want the product and the way the product is presented.
And I think in that thing we spoke about on remember when we were on Saturday when they were speaking about play the long game, like build the trust of your audience over time. You know, allow your audience to. If you guys are watching this and you're running a side hustle, there's some nice nuggets coming through here that you can use in your own thing, because you need to build that audience over time. You need to build that trust over time, because you're playing the long game. So a lot of times you find people who play dirty, where they do a certain thing just to get a product, they kind of, we call it in Afrikaans, they smear it off on you. They're like kind of just like, I just take it. And then it's like, you know, like those Wish adverts that you, or those memes that you see, like you bought something and then when it came, it was like not at all what you ordered. And it's like, now you know for sure next time you're like, bro, this company, you buy something, they give you the wrong thing. If you try to return it, they give you stories, they take long to bring it and da-da-da. And so you end up having this issue of you lose trust. And what the challenge is that people don't realize in business is that people speak under one another. I'll never forget there was in a particular city here in Joburg, in not Gauteng, in one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. They started a McDonald's there, right? And there was something that happened in one person's order, and it was a small community. And so the one person said, no, they found a hair in the McDonald's, or they found like someone spat in the McDonald's, something like that. And literally that information spread throughout the town, and people were like, that McDonald's, I heard they found hair in the burger or something like that.
And it can literally take one thing, bro.
Literally just that. And after that talk, people started not trusting that McDonald's. People kind of went there so much. Why? Because somebody said something negative about their brand. And because even though it's such a big brand, and even though it's an international, I mean, it's one of the biggest brands in the world. You see that yellow M, you know what it is. But that thing caused damage to that product because of somebody saying something.
And they said it to somebody else.
To somebody else. And that's the thing.
Customer.
I think what people underestimate is the power of people speaking under one another. Like if somebody says, Anka sent me this thing, but then it was too small, or Anka's things are always too tight or too big, or it starts ripping after like a day that you have it, or you know the quality is bad, or whatever the case may be. Tell us about when you choose quality, why is it so important for you to see it for yourself?
I've bought stuff and I couldn't resell it because I wasn't willing to attach certain things to my name. I bought it without viewing it first. Now what I do is I need to see the item myself. And this is what led up to, and this is what I wanted to touch on, this is what led up to on my profile. I do all of the shots myself. Not because I was trying to be vain or this is my thing. It was a matter of customers buy what they see. So it was important for me to show exactly the stock that I have on hand is what you see in that photo. So I started reposting it. I couldn't just take a picture from the internet and repost it because there's so many filters on it. There's so many, changes made with the editing apps and stuff like that. My photos are literally taken in its raw context and posted like that because when the item gets to my customer, they want exactly the color, the whole styling that they saw on because yes, some people have that edge to it where they want to change it, make it their own, but a lot of the people, they dress it exactly the way you posted or you dressed it for them. So that was one of the things that drove me to do certain things. So when I buy something, I literally have to see the quality, feel the quality, and look at everything myself, because I know that people are going to come back and then they're going to say, but, no, it's not exactly the picture. It's the cut, but the quality isn't what I'm seeing on the picture, or it's not sitting the way it's sitting on the picture like it needs to sit on me. So that is very important because that brings the people back, because people want what they see. You need to tell people what to buy.
Bro, do you want to read that comment there from Terian?
Yeah, so Terian says, I agree with Susan, and it's the packaging for me, like we were saying. Also, Uncle always supports me with my sweets business. Thanks. Support local business if you want to support your business.
I agree with that 100%. I think for me that it's so important to support each other. Other communities out there, they really like, I don't want to name certain communities, but they only shop from one another. And they support one another regardless of what that price is. And our communities, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
Say what you need to
Yeah.
say. We spoke about it last week in
So
detail. Yeah.
our colored communities, we don't support each other. We won't buy the price, we won't buy and pay that price. Oh, no, it's too expensive. But if you walk into Woolies, you don't say, oh, no, it's too expensive. If you want the jeans, you buy the jeans. And you don't know who you're supporting. You're supporting some rich CEO that's sitting there. Whereas I'm just trying to push my small business, and my profit margins are much smaller than what those companies are. And I have to literally hustle. Every week, I need to get into the car, drive out my petrol. I need to beg somebody. Lately, I didn't need to beg somebody, but before it was just me and Xavier. Getting Xavier to do something with me is a mission because he doesn't like malls. He doesn't like shopping.
And I'm busy, bro. So I'm busy doing something. Then she's like, come with me. I'm
Shut
like,
up. Show.
I'm working here.
But that is one of the tricky sides of a side hustle. This is the one thing I wanted to add to that, is that remember that your side business, your side hustle, your hustle is your hustle. As much as you're married to somebody, as much as you with somebody, it's not their hustle. They've got their own dreams. They've got their own things to push.
And that's what I used to tell her. I said, this is your thing. You excited about. She's like, why are you not getting excited? I just sold this thing now, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not my thing. Why want me to get excited? It's your thing. Like,
It's
I'm
not
happy.
that- it's not that
I'm
you're
happy
not
for
excited,
you,
yeah.
but
like,
I'm not gonna be the same excitement like the way when I see a car or like things that
That was
interest
the
me.
cold, harsh reality I needed to deal with, because for me, it's like, how are we married? I'm not doing this to just, yes, I'm doing this for me, but I'm doing this for us because the proceeds and whatnot is to try and build our family. And our family is the two of us. Obviously, our kids included, but so I'm thinking like, he'll be happy to get, he'll be like, oh, not today, I'm busy. I'm like, I've got customers to please. I've got customers to make sure that this thing is delivered. So I needed to find a different way to get there with someone, to ask someone to go with me. Even Clayton that's sitting here, he's had some good trips with me. He was my bodyguard to go where we needed to go. And there's quite a few other people that that I had to ask to go with. Then taking the pictures, my people, it's not as easy as it looks like it's posted. I have to beg this man. This is my photographer. I have to beg this man. It's like, I'm tired. And I understand, because he's got his own hustle. He works his own job. He does his own thing. So he is tired. And the times that I ask him to do something is really in the times where he's just like, I just need some space. I just need some rest. And I do understand that. But you realize ultimately, okay, fine, how do I make a plan to get around this?
And how important is it to have no excuse? Because you can come up with all the excuses. Hey, this one is saying no, and this one is not
don't wanna take
helping,
the
and this
picture.
one is
Yeah, you
not
can come up
happy,
with
and
those
this
stories.
one is...
And in the beginning it's like, how do I do this now? He doesn't want to go with me. Okay, I'll go next week. And then next week becomes a month.
Yeah.
Next month becomes 6 months, and you're like, you know what? I could have actually made. And when you do the calculation, so he forced me to sit down and do calculations like over a period of 6 months, and you realize,
I wasted a lot of money. Yeah. Like, let's say if you made like 10,000 for that or 5,000 for that month, and you procrastinated for like 6 months, and you're like 5, 10, 15, 20. 25,000 that I just or 30,000 that I just let go because I was lazy to get up and go do it myself. And this is something that I think is important. Like last week, I had to finish something. So on Friday, I had to drive to Pretoria to get something done. And we got in, the door was closed. And we went to the next place, and they were working online because of, regulations and restrictions or whatever. And we had to literally drive to like 3 different places. And when we got to the last place, we were like, we didn't drive an hour for no reason. We're going to find someone here that's going to help us, bro. Because we drove now 200, 300 rands petrol out. We're here now. We still have to drive back. You want to tell me we drove all this way for just for no reason? We have to get this done. And then we literally went door to door and knocked to see who can help us. And eventually we found a lady. And we were like, yo, listen, this is the situation. Can you help us? And she was like, no problem, sit down. She typed out the email and she assisted us. And as we were walking back and we got into the car, the person I was with, we were like, yo, can you see how important it is, bruh, to push. There's no such a thing as, the door was closed. You turn around, you go. You drove now your 300 rand out, 300 rand back. You wasted a whole entire day and you didn't do anything. What's the point?
And another thing that is so important is to realize that, and I say this again just to drive my point home, that your hustle is your hustle. For example, not as much as people close to you really love you, want to support your dream, they are not going to support you in every little thing that they see or that you're trying to achieve. I'm not going to use your example, I use my example. So when we were driving around for this thing that you applied for, I was in the car, I was like, yo, do we have to do it today? It's so far, can't you do it online? We were driving there and I was moaning the whole way, can't we do it tomorrow, you know? And then he's like, no, we need to get this done today. We need to get this done today. So he had to push because that's something that he wants. It's his dream. He wants to get it done.
And there was a deadline to be done. If I didn't get it done, then...
You know, when, like for me, it was like a matter of, you know, I can't do it now. I don't want to do it today. It's your hustle. You need to take ownership of it. How can I? So one of my biggest challenges right now, and this is something that I've been working on now for the past week, is social media on all its platforms. So you get the Reels, you get the TikTok, you get the everything. Now, I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on that, but you realize that this is a tool that I need to. And I nag with him the whole time. Baby, we need to do this, we need to do that. And he's like, yeah. That man has got other dreams. He's got other things on his plate right now that don't include the stuff that you doing. He'll help you, he'll post here and there, he'll take the pictures for you, but you can't expect him to do everything for you. It's your hustle. And because we're starting this with zero to no capital, you got to know that you need to take ownership of all the steps. Other companies have people they pay for to do their TikToks, to do their social media, to do their fashion buying. That's all you. But it's a smaller scale. So, and if it's your passion, you'll remain focused.
And I think this is one of my challenges that I have with people altogether, right? Later on, this is a massive pet peeve of mine, and it's just really irritating me. Where a matter of like in the beginning stages of your business, you the one driving your petrol out, you the one making the plan, you the one phoning the people, you the one, you doing whatever it takes to just get this thing moving. Then there comes a time where you can now start affording to employ a couple of people. Now you employ maybe 2-3 people. This one's going to make the calls. This one's going to do the driving around. This one's going to do. So now what you do is you buy yourself some time because now you have 2-3 people basically helping you do certain things that you had to do yourself in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And my problem is later on when you become the CEO of the company and you have 100 branches all throughout the world and you're making that money, then people still have the nerve to come down and say, yeah, you're just sitting there on your high horse and you just want to call the shots and this. It's like, excuse me, when I started this thing when nobody was worried about it, I was driving around, I was stressing, I was running around, I was making this thing work. Now that it's working, you want to say that, why are you just sitting? What do you mean, why am I just sitting? That's why I employed you. I'm paying your salary. You know what I'm saying? And this to me later on becomes a challenge because especially in our communities where somebody becomes successful, then somebody turns around and says, yeah, you just want to keep you better. You just want to do this. You just want to do that. But those people weren't there in the initial stages of the company where you had to work your way through and actually push, break those barriers.
Sure. And now? Yeah, bro, just on what you were saying, I think a lot of times people don't understand what the CEO or the boss, the critical decision that they're making. If they're not, so you would think they're sitting behind a desk drinking coffee all day. But if they're not making those critical decisions, you don't have a job.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Speak to us about the mindset issue between the CEO and the employer and the employee, because there's a different mindset there, and I think that's the element that I'm talking about. The employee is like, the boss is just giving me orders, and like what you say, but the boss is sitting there thinking, bruh, if I don't pay this thing here, and if I don't sort this out here, we don't have a company.
If you work for a company, you go to the company and you do what's on your job description, and end of the month you go to the bank and
your salary should be there.
You want to swipe, you want to swipe that 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 rand that you're getting salary. That's what you agreed to, and you expect it. Come hell or high water, whether there's lockdown or no lockdown,
you expect your salary. Otherwise, we go to CCMA or we go and make a protest outside.
You expect your salary, whereas. And how many strikes have we not been in the area that we are? You just see, red shirts going around here, people striking,
people know.
Like, you just see that, but you don't know that's sitting on top there. He needs to make plans to make sure, you getting paid. He needs to make business contracts and stuff like that, and meet with the people that is going to bring in this business, and that's his motivation. That's a hell of a lot of stress. People get heart attacks for this type of pressure. And the thing with growing that side hustle, in that in the beginning stages you're taught that, which is why which is at the top. He learned that in the very beginning stages, that if I don't make this move, or I don't think strategically about this,
we don't have a business.
And
here's the thing, that's why I like building something from scratch and going through the motions of struggling, because those motions are important to go through, because those are the lessons you learn on your way up. You can't just get something on a silver platter, because then you don't know what it takes to actually build that thing to that level. You just got it. And there's a fundamental difference between the employer and the employee. To the employer, a 10 million rand is not money. To the employee, they maybe see a bank slip somewhere. The company made 10 million. What they don't know, the bond is 5 million. The salaries is 2 million. This is 3 million. By the time that guy at the end of the month is done paying his obligation, he's in a 2 million rand deficit. You that's working for the company, you think 10 million is a lot. The other must pay the bills. 10 million is not enough. And so that's the mindset difference between people. They're like, you drive a nice car, you can afford it. You live there, you can afford it. What you don't know is that my levies is the price of, of your rent. My, the way I live is costing me this, that, and the other. And I've worked my way to that level to be able to afford these things. And the mindset changes is a
But I think besides that, I think mindset is a very big thing. Priority. And we've had this conversation so many times when we've driven through a certain area or something, and you just see satellite dishes, and you see there's no cars, everyone's driving a taxi.
A satellite dish attached to a shack.
Perhaps, yeah.
And then you're like,
and they're wearing woolies, and they're wearing like, you get what I'm saying? Or they're wearing Nikes or whatever. And you're like, I understand the cost of living. I know how much DSTV costs. We don't have DSTV in our house.
We don't even have Wi-Fi.
We don't even have Wi-Fi.
We're just trying to balance things out at this point.
Wi-Fi is like the fundamental part of my business, right? Because everything's online now. We don't even have that. So you find that it's really what is your priority? Our priorities was our kids are in a proper school to make sure that they're in a safe environment. So did we put a price on that? No, we didn't put a price on that. Are we in our bracket? Yes, we need to be in our bracket. Where we live is not necessarily because we thought, okay, we want to be with the glitz and glams or whatever. We thought of the safety aspect of our kids. So those were our priorities. So does that mean we can afford Wi-Fi? No. Does that mean we can go on holiday every other weekend? No. But that was our priority. And the same works in the business model. What do you want to do? And this was what the other thing that I wanted to explain, the discipline in this thing, in the side hustle. Because the first month you say, okay, fine, you're building up. Now you're seeing that you have 5,000 Rand. So working from a mindset of 1,000 Rand to 5,000 Rand. Now I've got 5,000 Rand surplus now. Now I'm thinking, now I can go buy that stuff I've been meaning to buy. I can go buy that, and now you need to say to yourself, no, this is to grow. Because it's a big red flag, because your 5,000 Rand needs to now grow to 10,000.
It needs to go buy more stock.
It needs to go buy more stock. So that discipline is your priority. What am I really trying to, am I just trying to get by, like just trying to buy a few extra stuff in the month? Or am I trying to grow this to be a proper business where I can literally have staff under me and I can literally live off of this?
And I think that speaks of vision also. What's the outcome here? What's the final kind of where we're trying to go with this? Are we trying to, what's the outcome? Are we trying to have a lot of stores all around South Africa? Are we trying to, what are we trying to achieve in this process? Are we gonna just stay like with a tuck shop mindset of like we're just gonna sell this that we have here, just so that we can at least afford things that we need at the end of the month, and that's it. That's as far as I'm willing to go. If that's the ultimate for you, then that's what you decided to do, and that's as far as you decide you're willing to take it.
You've achieved your
dream. And so you're okay with that. But if you want to go further, then then there's extra sacrifices you got to put.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times people stop because there's no planning involved. People basically just freestyle. And what I love to do, I love writing the stuff down on a whiteboard and so forth on. So now you're not just freestyling. The vision is driving you. And I wanted to ask, what are some of the stuff that keeps you, practical stuff that keeps you accountable when you feel like, nah, I don't feel like doing it today. Or let me just go next week.
Like I was faced with that challenge this week. I was like, what must I do? What must I do? And for me, my utmost motivation is my customers, because I tell them, no, I'll have stock next week. And I must make sure I have stock next week. I must make sure that is in place. I made the plan to get there. It's my customers first and foremost. And then secondly, because I'm trying to build this into a proper brand, I'm trying to build this into a proper outlet store. Eventually I'll have my own stuff in there with my own designs and all of that in there. It's not my own design, so I can't take credit for that. But I want to get there. So in order for me to get there, I need to stay consistent here. I need to stay consistent to say, get up and go. Because if I don't get up today, that's an easy 3,000 to 5,000 rand backlog. If I don't go today, if I don't go on my set days to go buy stock, I'm setting myself back another month or two towards my dream. So I can get quicker to my dream if I just do what I need to do per day that I set out per day.
So do you think it's important to put yourself under pressure like that? And a lot of the times when we're running events, Zakes will be like, just put a poster out for
because
the
now you have
50th.
to,
And we haven't even started planning or anything, but just because
you have a
it's
deadline, now you must.
You put yourself in that space. Now you're saying, okay, fine, I put out the poster, I have to deliver. If you don't put out the poster, what
You're gonna
has
end
to
up
is
postponing
there?
it.
and it's your brand that gets tarnished.
Like what do I have to do if I
people
didn't
see it,
if
of
I didn't
course.
if I didn't put something in place? So people are gonna ask me, so when's this gonna happen? When's that gonna happen? So some of the stuff I do delay in some stuff because it's not within my means just yet. But it's in the pipeline working. So I need to be transparent with my customers. And I've been saying this, that I'm a starting business. So I won't have a lot of stock now. And the reason why I don't have a lot of stock, because I can't afford to sit with my capital in my garage or my warehouse or wherever I keep my stuff. I can't afford that. So I buy smaller quantities because I need to get to a space to get bigger quantities. And I'll get there eventually, but they know that. My customers know that that's what I'm working towards, but this is where I am now. So that still puts you in the space of, okay, I need to be accountable to grow this thing better, but this is where I am now. So your customers know, you build a relationship with your customers, and you know that it's discipline. No one can tell you to be disciplined besides you. You need to know that you need to be disciplined.
Well, what are some of or how important is it rather to keep up with the trends? And I would not, before answering, I would love to say this. I don't think you keeping up with the trends.
Okay.
I think you're making the trend because, and I must compliment you on that, because
Feeling myself.
come on now, because most of the stuff that I see, most of the clothes that you sell, it's not your everyday, wear that people are necessarily wearing. But how important was it for you to have that unique style?
So I'm a very plain Jane type of person, right? So there is an element where you need to keep up with the style. You need to see what's trending, what's that. But also you kind of get a market base. The longer you're in it, the more you see, okay, this is what my customers like, this is what my customers like. So you kind of get a market base. And then the other thing is, what is your personal style? So a lot of the stuff that I buy is what I personally like. And I got to a place where, people were telling me, yeah, but you don't have this, you don't have that. Then I'll get maybe one or two influences, but not too far off of what I'm trying to sell here. I don't want a big variety. So what is your market? Where's the niche? Who are you supplying to? That is something that I needed to establish. And then there is the element of keeping up with the trends. I do lack in going to look at, okay, this is what's nice, this is what's nice, this is what's happening. But for me, personally, I've stocked certain things that I personally like maybe a crop top. Crop tops are trending. I do like it, but it's not selling to my market. So I can't supply it anymore. So,
but one thing why I really compliment you, because I genuinely know your style when I see it on someone else. Like on Sunday, I saw someone wearing your product, and it's like, oh, Unks, which is a good thing at
you
the end
start
of the
building
day.
a brand identity.
And that's really something that I'm working towards that brand. I don't want everyone to look like Unks. I want you must have your own sense, but there's a general style. Because if you go look at Levi's have a general style. If you go to Guess, you know when it's Guess. You know the style, because you identify the style with the brand. And that's really also something that I'm working towards. It's kind of like, and later on I'm going to be expanding onto different what do you call it, product houses, not product houses, but a different brand. So you'll have Shop Closet. My next brand that will be coming out will be Celeste. There's obviously meanings behind these names and where I come from, but that will be for your more mature audience.
The older ladies.
That like to maybe be covered up or like to dress in a certain way, but still do.
But still look fashionable and stylish. Yeah. Here's the other thing. In closing, because we're at the end of the show, but in closing, speak to us quickly about somebody that wants to start something and they're frustrated. They're a couple of months in, they're not making the sales they thought they were going to make. They see someone else doing well and they're like, why is my thing not selling? Da, da, da. What can you say to someone like that?
Your emotional stability is important. To keep you in the game and keep it above the water is so important, because you know how despondent I get when I buy a batch and it's not going within the first day or two. Then I'm like, this thing isn't selling. I know I'm gonna get it sold in the long run, but that's taking me more time to get this sold, to get more stock, right? And that really plays with your psyche. You like, am I really meant to do this? Is this really for me? You ask
was
yourself,
this the right choice? Maybe people don't like this.
Maybe people don't like what I'm buying. Maybe I must try something else. It does sell. It just takes longer.
You second guess yourself.
So it's been a 3 to 4 year process for me to like say, okay, fine, no,
Start trusting yourself. Yeah.
Start trusting yourself. Yes, not everybody's going to like what you do. Not everybody's going to like what you pick. You need to make peace with that, because not everybody's the same. But there are going to be people that like it, and you need to stick to that. You need to stick to that authenticity of what you're picking, what you're going through. And it is a struggle. When I go buy stock, Xavier, I'll be standing there, I'll be like, will they buy this? I like this. Do you think this? And there's some stock where you just definitely know, this is the trend, this is what's trending, it will go, and it is nice, I like it too. There are certain things you'll be confident in. But, it's up to you. You need to find that emotional support and find something that is a coping mechanism. Find something that helps you get past that despondency, because it will only last like a couple of hours or a day or whatever. Because now what I do is I push it harder. If it goes slower, I push it harder. I post it again. I post it to the people to see. And then you find, I didn't see this. This is really nice. I'll take it. Then you realize, okay, fine. Maybe it's just when you post it. Now you're looking at now the insights on your Instagram and those type of things, they make sense. You need those aids to help you.
And I think here's the thing, sometimes you take things personally, especially when it's your own thing. Then you're like, did I choose the wrong thing? Maybe people don't like me. You start taking, for real, bro, you start taking things personally, bro. You start thinking, what am I doing wrong? And then when you do that, like Anka was saying, like somebody says, I didn't see this thing, I actually like this thing, do you have this thing? And you're like, but I posted that thing like a month ago and nobody bought it. They're like, I didn't see. And then you realize, it wasn't because they don't like me or because.
But I think from the onset, you have to sort of like, how can I say, have room for that.
Yes.
There's gonna be people that's gonna vibe like the stuff, and there's gonna be people that's
don't.
not.
And that's just how life is in anything.
Like that.
Another important thing with the side hustle: don't expect your family members or the people you expect are around you. Don't expect them to support you. Don't expect that they will do it, because remember, it's not their dream. Like, the people that are buying from me are people I don't know from a bar of soap. I've never met them. And the people that really buy monthly by me is people that I met once. They bought one thing by me and they were impressed, and then they keep on buying. I have family members that buy once a blue moon, and it's important not to take it personally. It's important not to take offense for it. It's important to just keep your head in the game, to know that maybe it's just not their style. Maybe they just don't have the money right now.
Maybe they are jealous. Because
Maybe
that
there are,
could be
but
your thing.
I think that
You don't want to look at it in that way,
I don't
but
think
there
you
are
look at
elements
it.
where it's like, this person,
I
they just don't want to
choose-
see me. They don't want to see me win.
and I've made peace with it. I've made peace with that because, and this is something that for me kept me going in what I'm doing in anything in life. I don't do something because someone is jealous or because I want to show someone something. Literally, all my actions or steps that I take or moves that I make during the day is it in line with my goal? Is it in my lane? Is it something that I feel like doing now? If it's not, then, and if it offends you, I can't, if I'm doing shop closet because that's what I want to do, and I'm buying this because it's what's in my lane, it's what's in my vision, and it offends you, there's nothing I can do about that. Because what are you doing? Why are you offended? Why are you jealous? What are you doing sitting there at home looking at the pictures and saying, oh, this isn't nice. Oh, why is she doing this? What are you doing?
Do something also.
Do something.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to call it a day on the show. For everyone who's watching online, thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for your comments and your interaction and your engagement. It really does help us out here, and it makes a big difference, and it really just boosts the algorithm for people to come check what we're talking about. And this month, we've really been focusing and concentrating on starting your own thing, running your own thing. People that are in the game that have started their own thing from scratch, and the aim is to really show people that it's not like an impossible thing. You can start your own thing and you can build it. Go.
I just want to add something there. The main thing in this game is just do it. Don't wait for better days. Don't wait for capital. If you have 500 Rand, 200 Rand, do that. Make a way to flip that 200 Rand to get to more. The main aim is just do it. We have everything for free on the internet.
Get it done. Paris, from you?
Yeah, so we do know obviously the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, and like you saying, Unc, I would also suggest and say, yo, just do it, make it happen, get the bag. And you might say, yo, is it just about the money? No, we're not saying that. But then at the end of the day, do you want to live comfortable? Do you want to live in a good house? Do you want to drive a good car? Do you want your kids to go to a good school?
Then
and
it is about the money.
It's fun, but yeah, just my closing statement, and I might sound like a broken record here, but I have to emphasize the fact that there's 365 days in a year, and we only get paid for 12 days. Let that sink in. Bless up. It's been an honor and a privilege.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you did enjoy the show. Thank you for your comments. If you are here for the very first time, please do come and like and subscribe. We are on 1,170, it looks like.
Yeah,
but so thank you so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Don't forget, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have shows every morning at 9. So do tune in. It's going to be a fun one. See you guys on the next one. Love you. Bye-bye. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins, and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.